Footy fans, how you going? It's your Northern Footy Show weekly wrap-up. Big hits, big calls, big laughs, all the action, all the drama. From the first bounce to the final siren. Right here, right now, with Daz and Pete. Let's rip it!
Hi guys, welcome to the Daz and Pete podcast with special guest, aka your replacement.
Yes.
Dylan, is it Pageant?
Paget.
Pageant.
But nickname's Padgy.
All right, we're just going with Padgy.
Padgy?
Yeah.
That's it. This is a footy
Welcome,
side.
Padgy.
Yeah, thank
Welcome
you.
to the Northern Footy Show side. Well, guys, yes, Pete, you are taking off. You were just saying off there. You're off to Italy
I am.
to sell a couple of commodities to pay for your Ivanhoe team. where are you going and how long are you going for in all
No,
seriousness?
I'm just taking off for a few weeks. We've got the bye next week, and then I'll miss a couple of games. But yeah, something that's been planned for a little while. So Italy and Greece, and come home through Vietnam, and then I'll be back into it, refreshed, recharged, and ready to go for the second half of the year.
Let me help you out here. And Padge, they won't drop a game while you're away. Who have you got while you're away?
I'm not sure. We've got a bye, we've got King Lake, and then we've got Heidelberg West.
They will not drop a game.
No,
while
great
he's
chance.
away.
It's a great chance for 3 wins there.
Yes, they'll probably go undefeated all year. In saying that, we will get to your side shortly. Let's jump straight into what we did discuss before that, because there was only one senior game this week, gents, and so we're going to jump into that as
In Div 1.
in Div
Yep.
1. So let's have a look at that. And this was a bit of a shock. The other night on the Northern Footy Show, the boys were divided. 2 picked Diamond Creek, 2 picked Eltham, but Diamond Creek continue on this insane season, and they got the job done 10-10-70 to Eltham 9-8-62 in what I've told was a very hard-fought, not highly skillful, but good, hard footy,
Contested football.
contested
Yep.
footy all day. And that's a massive win, isn't it, Pete, for Diamond Creek, who now are rock solid in the 5. I released an article this morning talking about there can be no more questions. They're halfway through the season, and they're the real deal.
Yeah, well, they're sitting third. They're on the same amount of points as Mont as we speak. Halfway through the season, it's been an extraordinary first half of the year for Diamond Creek.
Yep.
And congratulations to them and
Yep.
everyone down there. By the same token, Eltham not far away. We think that they're going to be in that mix
Yep.
for probably that 5th spot. It's looking like now.
I think so. I think it hurts them a fraction. I know we're
Mhm.
only halfway. They're in better shape than a couple of the other sides like Greensborough, West Preston, and Banyule, and all
Yeah.
those things. So, and they're probably a step above North Heidelberg
Yep.
for mine. But
Them Bundy.
that was an 8-point game on the weekend.
Yeah, but
You
they've
know,
only just missed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I know it was at home.
nothing bad,
and all
but
the
it's an
rest of
8-point
it.
game.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
You've
And-
got to get it back.
And the one thing I really saw is obviously the first half. If we look back at the scores,
Yep.
Quickly.
He's been here 5 minutes. He's
Yeah.
giving me instructions.
yeah, I like
I
it.
like
Nah,
it.
but, obviously Eltham with the first half advantage, and then Dymo's come out the second half and gone, no, hold on a second, we're still here.
Yep.
That's what from what I've seen this year, they might have had parts of the game that's been not fully solid, but they've always found a way to come back.
Yeah.
And obviously the first half of the year with the new Div 1 team,
Yep.
teams are like, hey, don't know how to play. But
Mm.
now teams are sort of figuring out how they play. But
Yep.
Dymo has still been like, no, we
We
can
can-
still take it up to the best.
Mm.
And that's the one surprising thing I've seen from Dymo coming up.
Mm.
It's a bit like when Eltham came up to Div 1.
Yep.
They were like the same situation, but they've held their feet as well.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to see how these two teams finish the year off.
Tell
Yeah.
me the last side that kicked 1-6 to half time and won. I can't think of one.
It's
I
a
wouldn't
very
know.
long time.
So at halftime, the scores were 1-6-12 Diamond Creek to Eltham 4-3-27. So both had the 7 scoring shots, but then they've come out in the next quarter and kicked 4 goals, 3 Diamond Creek to Eltham's
3
goals,
5.
5. So, and that's where the games won and lost that bloody premiership quarter. But in all seriousness, to not stay on it for too long, that puts them in a fantastic position. They'll be over the moon with that Diamond Creek, and you've just got to give credit now. Andrew Tranquilli's boys are doing something very, very special.
And just on that, I think with this game, and I know we popped it up on socials and all the rest of it, but I think it'd be remiss of us not to mention the, pre-game jumper presentation that
It was
was made.
amazing. I'm glad you
Absolutely.
brought that up. We put the video up. I did get the heads up on it from Bongo, who I just love. Everyone knows my respect for Tim's amazing. And that just shows a lot of character. You're about to go to war against an opposition side for a finals spot realistically, and the opposition coach's son is playing against you, and you invite the opposition coach in to present the jumper to his son. For me, that is my touching moment of 2026.
Yeah, I look, that's people, before points, really. That's a longer term strategy, which showcases the culture. I think that both have, because, AT still had to accept it, come in, and of course he wanted to present his jumper to his young fella and all the rest
I
of it.
love the emotion in it.
It was fantastic. It
Yep.
was absolutely, because he never would have got that opportunity again to present his son with his first senior game jumper. And the fact that for, 15 minutes, 10 minutes, they put that aside and it's about people and it's about culture. Hats off to both clubs. Well done. And then they've fought out a pretty good game.
And especially with one of the articles that you wrote on socials, when they were in Div 2, the rivalry was so strong. And now coming to Div 1, it's like they've put that aside for 10 minutes for their culture, the family, for football.
Yep.
There's been some horror stories this week on footy, and I'll touch on it in between divisions here. But for all of this is a bloody good story, and I respect both men for doing it. I know when you see AT get a fraction teary, I love that. I love the humanity behind the passion, and it'd be hard to coach against your son on the day. And God, that's just good for footy. But
agreed.
Having a look
Well
at the
done,
screen,
both
boys.
clubs.
Look at this, though. Heidelberg, 10 points clear on 32 points, top of the ladder there. Montmorency on 22, but so are Diamond Creek, and that was a draw in round one. And everyone just thought Montmorency had an absolute Barry Crocker of a game, and maybe they didn't. Maybe that was just the standard that the Creek were bringing. Oh, goodness gracious. And from to both be there, percentage is definitely in favour of Montmorency, and Diamond Creek haven't been a prolifically high scoring side this year. That'll be the thing they have to improve upon. But
they're still 133%.
Yeah, but I'm just saying in comparison to the other two, Montmorency's 169% and Heidelberg's on 220. But great start, great season. We'll come back and we'll talk after Division 2 about the games ahead this week,
because there's some crackers there.
Yeah, no Division 2 this week. Everyone had the bye, which gives us a little bit more time to talk about how this is shaping up in Division 3. And look, let's start with
next one along.
Let's start with
the right round.
The right round. If you're listening on Spotify,
it'd be a good start.
If you're listening on Spotify, Pete's controlling the computer. If you're watching it, doesn't matter.
Jeez, I miss you for 3 weeks.
I think I've gone one short again, haven't I? All right, so we'll start with this one, which was Reservoir versus Epping, and Reservoir 16-14, 110 accounted for Epping. Still 13-9, good going, 87, but 23-point win there to Reservoir. Gee, they had some stars in this week, Pete. They had Basher Hooley, Ricky Dyson, Michael Hurley got best on ground. He's not a bad guy to bring in.
Naif Hamed came across too.
Naif Hamed, we spoke about that during the week, didn't we? Well, have a look at their best.
It's crazy.
Private players, Trent Cotchin as well.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Yeah, so I suppose there's a couple of ways you can look at this. One, congratulations to Reservoir getting that all together for such an important game.
Yep.
Secondly, well done to a young Epping that took it up to what was a star-studded lineup for a really important game, which was an away game for them too. So
and that's
well
still a good
clubs.
score, isn't it? I mean, you got for Epping, you've got best on were Brent McCaffer, Lee Judd, Corey Middleton, Joshua Borden, young fella as well, Jake Perry and Archer Bugden, another young fella.
Yeah, Archer, a good player.
Brent's having a stellar season. Just FYI, spoiler alert, JK put him on the bench in the Division 3 side of the year. And if you're listening to this, Caff, just give him a nice little jab into the bit silly putting Caff on the bench.
Because you think McCaffrey's still playing AFL footy than what you're seeing on a Saturday.
He's insane. He's off the charts. And I know he's
been great.
Body's sore, he's aging, but he's going to be a tremendous coach. Division 3, when was the last time, Padge, that you've seen that level of stardom? We're talking there's probably 5, 6, 7 AFL players that played Division 3 on the weekend in, sides that are both outside of the 5.
Plus, on top of that, there's a lot of past Div 1 talent on top of that as well,
Absolutely.
not just AFL talent. Josh Grabowski's
Yep.
there, and there are plenty who have played at first division level, top level country,
Tons.
or VFL level.
Adrian Dinter.
Yeah, I'd say this has probably been the strongest Div 3 in I reckon a good maybe 7 to 10 years that I've seen.
Yep.
Especially not just like you're saying the AFL talent has come in or being special guests for teams, but like the Div 1 players that have been, the cliche, had enough of the top level and gone down to have fun now.
Yep.
It's like this is probably the strongest Div 3 that we've seen in a while, but then that's also saying in the future, who knows how many more Div 1 players or retired AFL stars go to Div 3.
No, that's
Yeah.
true. What's your take, boys, on the special player? I'm trying to be non-political here, right? My take is the rules allow it. All right. So the rules are the rules, but are we getting to a point where you can nearly buy a game? In a tight clash? Are we getting to the point where, so Eltham did this last year with Robinson,
Yeah,
Mitch Robinson, and they beat Greensboro in the first game of the
and
year.
Fev's had a
run around. Tom Mitchell's doing it this year.
Playing with his brother.
Tom sort of signed, though, for
The back end.
the back end of the year.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm led to believe Koch has signed for 5 or 6.
Yep.
So I suppose the difference is between players who are playing 5 and 6 games compared to someone who just comes in for 1 game. Now, from what I can tell, because it actually wasn't a big thing in the Ammos when I was there for many years, from what I can tell, you used to bring that player in because of the revenue generation component of it, right?
That's a good
You
point.
get Fev to come and play.
You
Everyone
sell
comes and
beer and
watch.
people
Yeah,
and-
exactly. Like have a little crowd for Eltham and Borough at the start of this year for that game. You've got 6,000,
huge.
7,000
Massive.
at a home and away game. So I think that component. I think what we're starting to see though is not breaking the current rules and regulations. I want to be really clear with that. It's not breaking the current rules and regulations, but clubs can game the system a little bit with getting 1 or 2 players in to pinch a game against another potential finals aspirant or it'll flip the other way too. There is going to be important games that are coming up around relegation. And what happens if a team loads up in a relegation game against another team? They stay up, they go down, this sort of stuff. Now, again, it's not against the rules. So I get it and all the rest of it. But it'd be an interesting one to ask, our listeners out there, where do they think the line is about potentially gaming the system under the current rules of a player for revenue generation versus a player to hold you up a division or
is it a limitation point? Are we talking about the limit of maybe 1 or 2, or you've got to nominate, or I don't know. You know what? Nothing's been done wrong here. They've been played within the rules.
Yeah.
So why the rules are the rules? Explore away.
I'm absolutely not saying that.
No,
I'm saying what we are starting to see is maybe are we seeing the start of something that we need to be aware of and that they may need to get feedback from the clubs, get feedback from players and all the rest of it, and a little adjustment to the rules to make sure it isn't gamed in such a way.
And then is it a false economy, Padge, because you can't have these guys. If they sneak into finals, you mightn't have access to Bashir Hooley or, Naif Hamed. You might...
And we don't know. They might have signed for the rest of the year, by the way.
I know, but let's just assume they were 1-game players, like Hooley for this one.
Yeah.
And then the team's also got to think about, I personally don't know if Div 3 and Div 2 have the same issues as Div 1. But the points when teams are picking players, you only got a certain amount of points.
43 out of 36, so they were still way under bringing those
so
guys
they're
in.
either thinking the points, you could be careful who you bring in.
Yeah.
But also the clubs are also thinking about, obviously, revenue, but the viewership of their games. They're like, if we have these players, how many are actually going to come watch?
Yep.
But it comes down to who you actually put on the park and the statistic around winning and losing. That's what teams have got to be smart about, really. But in the future, will there be rules put in place? We don't know. That's a good question.
How good to bring in Hurley, kicks 7. Hamed comes in, kicks 3. I mean, bang! All of a sudden, you've got 10 goals from your ringings, which I think they needed a win urgently.
And again, I don't know if they're playing for the rest of the year.
No, nor do
So
I.
that's so
Yep.
I think that we'll find out
Yep.
if they are. I actually don't know, but
Yep.
but again, well done to Reservoir to get them together. Well done to get the win. It was a big win for them in terms of where they want to be this year. They absolutely want to play finals this year.
Yes.
They've been straight up and with that. And I don't think it's necessarily a horrible result for Epping in terms of that next generation youth
Yeah.
policy going up and playing against some of the competition's best.
We'll have
Well
a
done.
look. We'll have a look at the ladder after this.
Yep.
As we get through these divisions, but it's an interesting one because could help or hurt. So
Yeah, exactly.
let's talk about the next game, which is was played at Laylaw versus West Heidelberg, and West Heidelberg got the Chocolates 23-14, 152 to Laylaw 11-7, 73. Now, I'm just gonna say this as I say it. My inbox, gents, has blown up over this. There's been only a couple of times in the 3 years my inbox is blown up like crazy. I'm getting information on both sides and all this. What I'll say is, aside from all that, which I won't comment on, there is no place for racism in sport. In anywhere for that reason, but we're a sports show.
Yep.
There is no place for it. Not only racism, homophobic slurs, personal attacks on people, friends, family, whatever it is. There's just no room for it. And if you listen to our podcast, and I doubt you do, because if that's in your mindset to be racist, please don't tune in, because they're not the people we want following the show. But come on. Enough. I'm a bit disgusted by the whole thing. I think the league's got a real hard week ahead of them now of dealing with this. And I see Laylaw's released an apology, and it was an external person. And I get they can't control external people, but I don't know how much more is involved in it. Let's let the investigators do that. But I wanted to be really clear that there's just no. I thought we were past this, to be honest.
Yeah, unfortunately, we're not. And that's across all different types of sports, at all different types of levels. It's still going on with people going to AFL games.
Yeah, that's true.
Like you see the VFL Gold Coast Sun player who's been reported for homophobic slur.
Yeah,
It's like in 2026 we thought would be a little bit ahead
and
of
4
time.
people have been done for it already this year.
It was a big one on the AFL the other night, wasn't it? Yeah.
So look,
that's just a message.
We just got to be better. It's that simple, right? And I know that there will be people who are listening and all the rest of it, and it's okay if you've got a different view. But
I don't have a view about what happened. I wasn't there. My view is
no. It's not about that. I think just collectively, we're going through a bit of a really troublesome period at the moment in terms of behaviour.
Yep.
Let's collectively call it that. There's been things around umpires. There's been things around racism. There's been things around parents at junior level and all the rest of it. Collectively, we've just got to be better.
Just pull up a bit.
Right? If we can, right? And people will say, good on you, you're woke, whatever, and that's fine, right? I'm not. I just really hope that people can go to the football, enjoy the football, watch their kids play, watch their kids umpire, be there and have a few beers with mates without thinking that your day isn't complete unless you abuse someone in an inappropriate way.
Yep.
So that's all I'm saying.
I have an idea. Can I flag a quick idea before we move into the game?
Yep.
My understanding is there's been 5 or 6 incidences.
Yep.
Is that a word? Incidences? Incidents?
All
right. I failed here. I failed here. Yeah, work with me.
Hey,
I got a year
sounded good
12.
to me.
I'm a Colonel
I got a
Park
year
boy.
12 but didn't finish it.
So, there's been 5 or 6 incidents over the last short period, okay?
Yep.
That being said, is it impossible to think, and if it's happening more in Division 3, I'm not saying it's not happening in other divisions, is it obscene to think that we could introduce a body cam audio recording device and trial it in Division 3? Because I think people need to be held accountable for it if it happens.
Now, are you talking on
the umpires?
On the umpire?
Yep. Yep, absolutely. Is that obscene?
Well, the AFL
I
sometimes
don't
have
think so.
cams on them, the umpires. Obviously, they're probably for more different reasons. But look, there's no harm in trying new things in the league to try and make it better. So it's a good idea.
It's got to be funded, and all this comes at an expense, of course. But I want to find ways to hold people accountable. I'd like to see ways for people to be held accountable for racism and homophobic slurs, and let's just get them out of the game.
Yeah, I agree with you. I
Awesome.
think, we've got a lot of work to do, and it's not just our competition; it's across all sports.
100%.
And just as a society, we've got some work to do. So
All right, we've digressed. We're going to get forward. I've had my little 2 cents worth. So obviously, West getting the job done. Very important win for them. For them, in their best, they had James Candelo, Bryce Barnes, Waylon Davey, Michael Italia, Mitchell Antonello, and Hayden Bolson. And for Laylor, always the big man, Sam the Gladiator, Rex Epi, Shannon Smith, Alex Deo, Hayden Hunt, Harrison Harrosos, just work with me, Harrow, and Tristan Harrow. No one's educated enough on this show. Maybe you'll bring something good to this show, Padge, next week. But Bryce Barnes comes out and kicks 7. The male model from West, they call him.
The what?
So the male model from West. I think he self-appointed himself, Padge, as the male model
that has to be a fine
from West. That's a fine.
That has to be a fine, Padge. You're right.
He'll text me at about 8 o'clock tonight when this one goes live. Waylon Davey having a spectacular introduction into this.
Great effort from the young fella.
This league. 6 more goals for him, and Hayden Bolson 2, Blake Charles 2, and we can just go on with that. But for Laylor, Rex Epi 4, Shannon Smith 3, and Tristan Harrod 2, and the rest are singles. Look, tough year for Laylor, no doubt about it. But the one thing I would say about Laylor is they're kicking higher scores than they previously have. So they're getting there. 11-7's not woeful by any stretch of the imagination. So it's a tough one. Just got to keep plugging them. For West, they really needed that win as well if they're going to play off in finals. And then we'll move over to Watsonia, who went down 10-8-68 to the Learjet side, 14-13-97. Padge, have you seen a better Division 3 side in your life on paper than this Ivanhoe side?
Probably not.
No. What I will say, though, and I think you might like this, the man sitting next to me, who's now known as, for the next 3 weeks, Peter Roloroli, as he heads to Italy. But 29 points, Pete.
Padge, you're going to have to deal with him for 3 weeks.
That's fine by me, mate.
These 100-point wins have stopped. Okay, now I know they got a few players away, but they also didn't have Clokey on the weekend.
True.
Had a Clokey played this one.
How many goals did he kicked?
Oh, he's good for 6 every week. He's a star. 27 scoring shots to 18. So the score line's about right for me. But, you know what? Maybe his are beatable. If people are starting to get there within 30 points, great effort by Watsonia again. But, Padge, they remain undefeated, the Hoers, and they are putting together one of the great seasons.
Absolutely. What I've heard is you're well known to be that one of the top teams up there for the flag this year. So obviously we've got to that mid-season bye, so every team's going to be refreshed and for the big second half of the year. So it's going to be interesting to see if you hold where you are, or if you really take off, or if you drop. But from what I'm hearing, it's looking like a pretty good second half of the year.
Pete said to me a couple of weeks ago, this is just off the record.
Off the record.
We'll edit this out. We'll edit this out. He said to me, Daz, I reckon we can go bang, bang, bang. Division 3 flag, Division 2 flag,
that's
Division
a bold
1
call.
flag. Bold call.
Had. Did you see his nose
He'll miss
grow?
me. He'll miss me.
Did you see his nose grow? I think we're worried about our next opponent.
Yep.
Not
Here
bang,
comes the media
bang,
training.
bang, and all the rest of it. But let's get back to the game and not this
You were there.
rubbish.
How was it?
Yeah, well, actually,
what's the replay this morning?
He jumped out of the blocks, kicked the first 4 goals in 8 minutes.
Yep.
And which is really different for us. We've started really well every game this year, just about. So all of a sudden we were, on our heels and had to get our game going again. So we worked our way back into the game, and by quarter time, we'd sort of got our noses in front again. But it was really interesting just to see again how we reacted to that. They're a really good, fast, young team. They have a crack.
They're going to be all right.
Yeah, our guys said they hadn't been as sore on Saturday night than after this game. So quick team, young, enthusiastic. contest, especially on the ground. You've got, sort of big muddy square in the middle.
Yep.
So you can really only play on two sides of it. So you know where the ball's
Outside
going.
of the
So it
tram
shifts
tracks.
things up. But no, they were very good. I think I think that they're onto something. We talk about the
Agree.
next generation at Epping. We talk about some of the kids that are coming through in a few of the other teams like
Yep.
Eltham Turtles and that. Don't miss the boat on these young guys
No, I
because
agree.
they're very well coached. They really have a crack, and they weren't just missing Clokey either. They were missing a couple of other
Yep.
guys. It was uni exams, so there was a
Yes.
couple missing. So
And it also comes down to give it like these young teams and the young clubs, give them a couple more pre-seasons and you don't know what's going to happen.
absolutely,
It's going to be retaining them.
Well, people can say that, but create an environment where people want to stay and do something together. If people want to piss off for money, then go for money. I don't give a shit about
it's
that.
not all about money, Mr. Learjet. This is about, and I'll give you the example.
No, I'm saying if people think that way, they can go.
I don't reckon it's about money. I reckon they've got some really talented kids in this that should or could be playing higher, and they're learning their craft at a lower division. I spoke to one earlier today, or back and forth on text. I reckon Seb Tarkson's special. I've been asking for since the start of the season. Is he related to Darren Tarkson, the ex-Carlton recruit? It was very, very good footballer. Did all right with the ladies too, Darren Tarkson, let me tell you. That's his uncle.
Yep.
And Seb's coming on the show, not this week, the week after, and he's going to bring a friend.
Yep.
So if you're listening to this, go to my Facebook page, Insta page. Not sure if it's on TikTok. It's definitely on YouTube. But I put up a clip today of
his goal?
Seb Tarkson running down the wing,
Gout.
a.k.a. Gout. I called him.
Yeah.
I've never made a reference in my commentary to the artist Rihanna. Take a bow. So, mate, that was, because I know how classy your unit is, for someone to have from the half-back flank all the way.
Yeah, it's 6 bounces.
That is insanity.
And he nailed it.
And nailed it. And then didn't over-celebrate either.
No.
Good. But, for me, I think Clokey comes back to that side. I'm gonna upset a couple of people here. I can't wait for Munda or Lorimer v. Watsy if they're both at full sides, because that's when we're going to find out really who Watsy are. And they're a side I didn't give much kudos to at the start of the season. They're bloody good.
Yeah.
And
they've earned where they are this year.
And Clokey's how handy to have that brains trust out on the...
And that extra leadership and skill to hand the younger players a bit of,
and
here, do this,
and
education.
Talking to a few people at Watsy after that, they said that's what Cam's been absolutely fantastic with.
He's really... Well, did he coach on the weekend as well?
No, he was unwell.
Oh, right, okay.
So I didn't see him. But
ran him too hard on M&D night.
But no, they were really good. Jamison Leeson had a wonderful game actually out of the middle.
Watsy, yep.
Luke Lowry again getting heaps of it. There's Seb got named it. Jai Bartzis, right? Tall, athletic, forward type. Kick 4, I think.
Yep.
Number 5 for them.
Yep, he did.
Yeah, played a really good game. Mason Gretsch and Owen Davidson. For us, Kane Value was outstanding in the middle.
Yeah.
And if Kane hadn't have been there, we would have been in a lot more bother. We lost our skipper early in the second quarter.
Did you?
Feder hurt himself. So
we jinxed him by coming on the show.
You did. So he's never coming back on here again. But Kane was good. Oscar McIntyre was fantastic. Riley Lowton, as you would expect. Patrick Della Rocca, kick 3 I think he kicked about 8 points. As well. So put out a big day out. Tom Hallibone was really great in the ruck, which we needed because Watsy obviously have that very tall ruck, which gets first hands on the ball all the time, and steady back from overseas. His first game back from overseas, kicked a couple, so it was good to see Daddy out there for us again.
Well, the evener upper is here, and I think this from a supporter point of view, I'm happy to see 29-point wins from 100-point wins, and it's not saying that they've got any worse because they haven't, and they've got a few away, but some sides are getting a good look at them. And you know what it's like, Paige, when you look at a side, a second and a third side in finals, we all know anything can happen in finals, but you've got all season to get it right. Well done to Ivanhoe getting the win. Well done to Watsy as well for presenting amazing. Let's move forward to the only other game in Division 3,
which is a Marshall game,
which has allowed us to talk a bit more about this tonight. But Oh, look at this, Moonda, 18-20, 128 to Kilmore, 10-11-71. Nipper Marshall's 300th. He was on the show this week. He was on the podcast. He had a week of stardom. Moonda looked after him amazing. Bandura got down and supported him on the day. Big thank you to Mickey Thompson. Went down, wrote a beautiful article about it, took heaps of photos, and he's done so well this year for us. We're so blessed to have someone like Mickey go out and cover the games for us.
And Nipper didn't let us down either. Gave himself best on.
Yeah, he always does.
Yeah.
And he had 4 touches.
And he kicked a couple, didn't he?
What's that?
He kicked a couple, didn't he?
He kicked, what did he kick?
A couple, he did. He kicked 2, I think.
I reckon he would have been fed them, wouldn't he? He did. He kicked 2.
Yeah, one thing about Nipper, he goes and gets it
Mate,
himself.
The hard ball.
Exactly.
He is one of the toughest players I've ever seen play. And as much as we're joking and taking the mickey, he's a superstar of our league and, honestly, one of the best. I don't know if we do a Hall of Fame, we should create one, but he would certainly have his hand up for it. For Moonda, as we said, Brett Marshall, Nipper, best on, Christian Evans, Josh
Having a good
Mazzarella.
year, Christian Evans.
Oh, yes. Braden
Very
Thompson,
consistent.
Jakey Bennett and Billy Morrison. They're all good synonymous names down there, which is great. And for Kilmore, always there, Chris Barton, Liam Salter, Marcus Lacoria, Lucas Cheswas. Any chance of you guys changing your name to Smith and Jones, please? Max Layer and Mason Lacoria. Look, that's not a horrible display by Kilmore because they've been active and, 10-11 to 10-5, and it's a little bit of a different game. But on the other hand, change badge that 18-20. Has anyone kicked more points than Moonda? I'm going to do this. I'm going to do stats tonight. No one surely has kicked more behind than Moonda this year.
Yeah, Nipper was just saying during the week he was happy that they'd straightened up a bit the week before. And
how good are they going to be if they have 40 scoring
Imagine
shots?
half those points were goals.
Yeah.
They would have been bloodbath by half time.
Yeah.
They and we'll keep saying it. They are very, very good. I can't wait to get a look at them because we don't play them until round 13 just because of a quirk in the 11-team fixture. But I think they play Lorimer again before we get to play them.
Wow.
So that will be a ripper. I think there was only about 10 points of difference the first time they played out at Mernda. It will be at Lorimer.
You're right.
And Lorimer were missing a couple, Mernda were missing a couple, so it'll be really good to see where both
And it's
teams
going to
are
be
at.
interesting because, I've heard from a few people that Lorimer might have picked up a few injuries over the last couple of weeks. So hopefully, because we love having the teams at the top being the healthiest. So we hope that both those teams get their injuries all sorted and we see a ripper clash before they obviously verse Ivanhoe.
Yeah.
Well,
I'd like to see that too at the mate.
Yeah, you'd be happy to see them flogging each other.
No, about everybody getting.
Yeah, you want the best of
players
the best
back.
playing.
We've
Back at PCO this year as well. It's going to be
even
amazing.
better.
Can't wait.
so when you're back at PCO for Division 3.
Look, I know Division 1-2 will
Yeah.
most certainly be there, and that's without this isn't the league confirming. This is my general conversations with people with pretty confidence that I'd love to see all 3 there, to be honest. If time pending and it can work.
If it could work, I think it'd be fantastic, especially maybe to have grand final and preliminary final in Div 3 there
amazing.
if you can't get the first couple.
I'd be amazed if all grannies aren't there.
Yeah.
I'd be shocked if they weren't all there.
That would be fantastic. I'm a big fan of Eltham, actually, as a venue, and
it's just a hard ground to charge to get in, I think, as well. You can't gate off certain areas, but I agree. It's a great viewing ground. It's one of the best viewing grounds in the league.
Well, they trialled it last year, didn't they, with women's finals there?
Yep.
So if there's Div 3 finals can't all be at PCO because of
possibility. And the clubs have to put their hand up for it too.
It's just a thought bubble.
Yep.
That's all.
Let's go through this ladder quickly. Ivanhoe, top of the ladder, 32 points. Lorimer, 28. Mernda, 28. Watsonia, 20. That's tight. That's your 4 that's tight. And then you're on 16, Reservoir. Now, Reservoir on 16, fighting with Epping on 12, Heidelberg West on 12, Kilmore on 12, Old Eltham on 12, and forget about the rest. Kinglake and Laylaw, Bendigo for your end-of-season trip. But, all the way down to 9th is only 4 points out of the 5. I love that.
And anything can happen.
Anything can happen. Like Pete misses 1 week of payments and this falls apart. So He's going to miss me. I'm going to have to send him a couple of stabs over there. But, then we speak about the games that are coming up this week, and brace yourself for this one because this is going to be an absolute cracker of a week. Kinglake take on Heidelberg West. I don't know where this game is being played yet, so don't hold me to it.
Sure.
But this is a game where Kinglake, if they can get one over it, they can't resurrect their season, but they can start to take something really positive from it.
Yeah, well, they should have a bit of confidence out of their last one. They beat Laylaw by 40 odd.
Yeah, well,
didn't they? So
every possibility.
Shermo has taken over the reins
he took a
there.
good job.
So let's see what that sort of pans out.
We love Shermo. He's our new footy show friend. And Kilmore take on Laylaw. We're pretty comfortable, so Kilmore should get that done.
Mhm.
But I think that was really close last year from memory. Don't hold me that. Epping take on Lorimer at Epping. Now, Lorimer would have to be red-hot favourite here.
100%.
You would think 10 goals.
Depending on who lines up.
But you know what the greatest even or upper is on our game?
Mm-hmm.
The weather. So the forecast is rain.
Is it?
And that just tidies stuff up a lot.
Not in Milan, mate.
From your perspective, from what you've seen, who do you think?
I'm going to Melton. You're going to Milan.
Who do you think weighs up better in the wet?
No, Lorimer. Lorimer are better at everything at the moment, to be honest, and that's no disrespect to Epping. But Lorimer, they're a serious outfit.
They're very good, yeah.
They're a serious outfit. They win either way. In the wet, they win by 5. In the dry, they win by 10. So, that's mine. Then you've got Watsy taking on Old Eltham. It's only 4 points difference between these two sides on the ladder.
And the Turtles have been playing some good footy.
And they're well coached. I've seen the JK put their coach in as coach of the year so far. So that was a really good endorsement. He will do anything for cash, JK. I'll just give you a heads up. If you wanted to be in that side, a 50 would get you in. He would have put you in, Padge. For $50, you could have been full forward.
Didn't get Caff in.
No, Caff on the bench. They're supposed to be mates. This will be a show worth watching this week. He could be all over.
He's put his transfer in.
Yeah. Well, he did to Ivanhoe. Caff will make sure he stays there now. So that'll be a cracky game, and that's at Binnock Park. And then Mernda take on Reservoir, and this is set to be a ripper as well because Mernda, again, would go in pretty strong favourite here. I would have thought by 7 to 9 goals. If they kick straight, could be anything. It's at Waterview Reserve Mernda. But Reservoir will want to make a statement. We're fair dinkum.
Because when we looked at that ladder, they're sitting 5th.
Yep.
And they've got that one game behind.
Just
4th.
one game.
But they want to really push now.
Now they do.
No, we haven't seen Mernda yet, but just looking at the results, I'd have Mernda in front here. But what I'll be really interested to see is come Thursday night.
Yep.
What team does Reservoir
put in?
Well, because if they put in a similar team to what they put in on
last
the weekend, it'll be really.
I don't think Hurley's an option because he's playing somewhere else this year. So and they had a bye. Yeah, so it's a one game pass for Hurley.
Okay.
I'm pretty confident. Cochin, yes, I understand he's probably committed to 5 or 6 games, but he's got an aging body as well, so he's not going to be able to back up every week. I wouldn't have thought. Yep, just rest him like Pendles, and nothing wrong with that, is there? Ricky Dyson's been running around nearly every week as well, so you have to manage some of these guys. I understand Scanlon retired.
Yeah,
I was told this
Chewy's
week.
retired.
Yep.
But Greenwood didn't play on the weekend, so he'll if he's available, he'll come back in.
Yep.
I think there was someone else who didn't play this weekend as well, who's quite regular.
Right.
So look, it'll be really interesting. You would think on form at the moment, and the way and being at Mernda and the way that Mernda are going, that they quite rightly would start as favourites.
Yep.
I'm just suggesting that depending on the team that Reservoir throws out there, if they're really mature,
yes,
it could be really interesting.
Well, then we go to Division 2 and we have some killer dillers here. And every week seems to be a killer diller for every game in Division 2 because it's that time. But St Mary's will host Fitzroy Stars. Fitzroy Stars dropping a couple in the row. St Mary's getting a couple of wins here and there. So this will be set to be a cracker because if St Mary's...
boggy down there at Watmore this time of year.
Oh, yeah. If St Mary's get the win here, so St Mary's as we flick to the ladder, St Mary's are only sitting in 6th position. Fitzroy Stars 5th position. They're both on 16 points. Percentage is near identical.
So it could be the game of the week.
It would be match of the round in Divi 2 for me, for sure. Old Pradians then take on McLeod at Garvey Oval. One of the prettiest ovals. I love that picket fence.
It is. Well done, Harrow.
McLeod haven't won away from home, I don't think. So that will be in the mindset. And then old Pradians are having a good year as well. So just flicking back to the ladder ever so quickly is there as well. You've got 4th versus 8th, and that's 4th being Old Paradians. McLeod need to get another win because their good is brilliant. I can't tip that one. That's too hard to tip.
I think that's a flip of the coin, even though it's at the Garvey.
Yep.
McLeod just cannot afford to lose that.
No, definitely not.
So that'll be a really, really big game. If Paradians can win that one and puts a 2-game separation between themselves and McLeod,
Yep.
2 or 3 game separation, that's massive. So that's a big, big game.
Do you think it comes down to what team selection looks like as well, or not really?
Yeah, right. Look, I think so, especially around this time of year, right? We're talking to clubs all around the place. Our club's no different, right? There's people are taking off overseas. There's injuries that are taking play and all that sort of stuff. It's that mid-season winter blues,
Yes.
it's a real grind to work through. We spoke about it at our club during the week.
Injuries start creeping in.
Yeah, exactly. So it's very much on who's available certain weeks and for certain matchups. I think.
Yep.
You can get away with certain players being away one week, but you can't the week after just
tend
because of
to agree.
matchups. So, yeah, look, we'll see how it goes. Parade have done nothing wrong.
No.
And McLeod have got some work to do. So it'll be game on there at the Garvey.
One's in the 5 and one's not. So, and it probably leans a fraction Old Paradians way being at home.
Yep.
Panton Hill at home at EE Cracknell's Reserve take on South Morang. I reckon that's the tallest job of the week. That one you would think is a lay-down misère. But Panton Hill topped Fitzroy Stars.
Yep.
So you never know. This is the problem with this division. You can't work it out.
And a few things I've seen is a lot of games recently that I've seen is you could be up by a lot at halftime, 3/4 time, but teams are coming back and winning on sirens.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
It's like,
momentum.
so you got to play your 4 quarters.
Yeah. Your momentum's been all over the place in different games. We had that on the weekend. Like we took a 5-goal lead into half time, and Mossy came out and kicked 5 in the third.
Yeah.
So that was game on again. You know what I mean? So yeah, the swings of momentum have been really big across lots of games. So
crack up.
Panton Hill. So you'd think South Morang
7 or 8 up at Panton Hill.
7 or 8.
7 or 8
You think
goals.
it'd be that much?
Yep, 7 or 8. South Morang for me are probably favourite to win the flag. Then with
when they get
Park.
the full list back.
Yep,
When's
and
their full list back?
Just got a lot of. Well, I don't know. They've got a lot of injuries, and they're going to be special.
I think with their full list,
Yep.
yeah. So I'd be interested again to see what selection looks
Yep.
like and some of those
And
players
with Matt,
coming back.
Matt Penn being their coach this year, obviously, ex-Hurstbridge assistant, he's a hell of a coach. So I know that with him sticking around, that they're going to go places.
And a South Morang junior coach as well. So he came through the ranks, coached juniors, then went and got some experience over there with obviously JC at Hursty and has come back. So I love that homegrown. He was my neighbour for about 10 years.
But like you said, if they stick with him, they've got some specialty recruits coming in. They're going to go somewhere.
Yeah, but look at it continues to be the tightest division.
If you're winning with that show at this point with so many injuries, that tells me you've got amazing depth.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
And my only fear for Northcote Park, and we'll get to them, will be the depth. Next game, Lower Plenty will host Tomo. And, this one's another killer dealer. And I tell you why, as we bring up the ladder, whilst Tomo, I think, is second last on the ladder, and where is Lower Plenty? They've crept into the third, right? So for me, this just isn't a foregone conclusion. Like, this could be the one Tomo pinch. Lower Plenty on another side, I had no idea we're going to be this good pageant there. They just keep winning. They're sitting third on the ladder. You would have got amazing odds to have them third on the ladder pre-season. All we've established this year is me and JK couldn't pick a winner in a 2-horse race. But from that perspective, that sets to be a good game. And the last one there, Northcote Park versus Whittlesea at Northcote Park at Bill Laurie Oval. Amazing. Like this, you would tip Northcote Park, by 5 goals here. I would, but Whittlesea could also upset them because their good is brilliant as well.
They got it. I know a few weeks ago they had a few. I don't know at the moment. Whittlesea had a few injuries at one point.
Yep.
I know Coop Beecham was out for a bit. Now back in. I don't know if he's
Tough.
back in yet or not, but
Yeah.
like injuries with the wet weather coming in, like they're going to change or break teams or make teams. So you
Yeah.
never know.
Early wins in the season for me have been so important in the dry because these games get really tightened up as you come into these colder winter months, injuries, management, and all of that stuff in
Yeah.
the peak.
Yep. Couldn't agree more.
Going to change. And then Divvy 1, there is some absolute crackers here. You've got Diamond Creek who are going to test themselves against Heidelberg at Diamond Creek.
That'll be a good game.
I think everyone at Diamond Creek will be really looking forward to this game.
This will be a test.
Because this is the benchmark club,
Yep.
organisation, list,
Yep.
whatever you want to call
Yep.
Heidelberg over the last few years. This is the benchmark.
All right.
So to get an opportunity to test yourself against what people believe has been the best over the last couple of years, I think will be something that really excites the Diamond Creek Footy Club.
Now, I said, Padge, they will drop 1 or 2 games this year, Heidelberg, and I'm going early. Creek get this done by a point. At home, like I went through some stats I put up today.
They did ask by
I
in the year.
really analyse the crap out of these stats at the moment, right? Now, I know you're having a bit of a giggle over there, Mr. Rolly, but at home, they are a different beast. They play that ground differently. They're a stoppage side, and Heidelberg's not used to stoppage football, right? It's time.
Yeah,
It's time for the upset of the decade, Pete.
Well, especially with last week when
Joel Groat will kill me.
Hurstbridge obviously went over and versed them, so it wasn't our day, but it was probably the youngest Heidelberg side I've seen in the last 6 years.
Rocky Wilson's gone now as well.
So, like, Diamond Creek have the biggest chances here after they've obviously played this week.
Who wins? Who wins, Padge? Give me it. Who wins?
I'll go on Damo by 4.
Oh,
4 points.
2 of the 3 have gone now. I know you are going to go the Detoli train.
Because I'm sick of Heidelberg winning.
All right.
That's a good enough reason too.
I like the emotion coming from you guys. I appreciate where it's coming from.
It's just like your dad telling you.
And I've got a newfound fondness for Diamond Creek after they looked after us with the MND
They're
game
amazing,
and
yep.
everything. Great. Heidelberg will get this done.
How much by?
You said it's going to be raining a lot, didn't
It's
you?
just raining, yes.
30 points plus.
Wouldn't be a bad result for Creek, but they'll get this done. Joel Groat said to me, you might have to start tipping us soon, Daz. Well, the pressure's on now, Groater. Put up or shut up.
Grover will give you a brainy
Yeah,
slap.
mate,
right?
you wouldn't want to fight him, would you?
No.
North Heidelberg will host Montmorency at Ford Park.
Ivanhoe Junior ground.
Another Ivanhoe, he'd be getting a clip off this too, Padge, don't you worry about that. But North Heidelberg, for me, will get absolutely murdered.
So I was
on this one.
gonna say probably 'cause I feel like these 2 teams always play close games together.
They do.
So I was gonna say Monty by 20 to 25 points.
I'm going to go Monty by 10 goals.
Yeah, Mont are playing really good football, and North have just dropped off
Yep.
a little bit in the last couple of weeks. When
I'm
they-
a North guy,
Yeah.
and I'd love to see them more competitive, but I think Monty is the
real
second
deal.
best side, real deal, and could win the flag on grand final day. That's why I say the gap is that big, and it has to be that big going into this game. I'm just making words up. Gig.
Yeah, I
Gig.
like
It's a new
it.
one. We'll throw that
Yeah,
one in.
well, you are a muso.
I'm a muse, not a muso. West Preston then will host Banyule
This
at
one's
J.
pretty
Moore. Yes, well, you know, I watched West Preston. I know they lost by 80 points to Greensy last week, and I spoke about it briefly last week. But gee, they fight to the death. And this week on the Northern Footy Show, I can't say on the Northern Footy Show with JK and Kath, the special guests are Maddie Harmon, Christian Lawson, and I've forgotten the female player's name.
Isabel.
But it is Isabel, you're right. And it's Maddie's fiance, I think it is.
Yeah, she's
superstar player
she's
too.
leading the MVP in Division 2 women's football at the moment.
How good is that? So what a coup to guest to have on this week.
Yep.
So yeah, look, I agree with you, Paige. I think Ben will get the job done. I'm going to say Ben will get this done by around about 9 goals.
I'm just going to put it out probably 45 points.
Yeah, Banyule, get it done.
All right, we were all in agreement there. Then Eltham take on Hurstbridge at Central Park again, and I hate the terminology, but it's an 8-point game for both again because Hurstbridge are
It's a must-win for Hursty.
underperforming to where I think they could be. Baz will be on the phone at 7:00 tonight. But they would have thought they would have put up a better contest against Montmorency, in all honesty.
There was, obviously there was. I saw that game. There was a few injuries here and there. Obviously the weather came into play, but even against Heidelberg,
Sounds like excuses.
no, even against Heidelberg, like it was close at the start. We obviously dropped a few, but this is going to be a tight game. It's going to be interesting to see who gets picked on Thursday night. If there's going to be a reshape or if we have the same key players and bring some youth. I don't know what JC has in mind, but I'm going to say, because I can't tip against him, I'm going to say Hurstbridge by 15 points.
All right. For you look like you're in deep thought here.
I am actually. Like I was on Hurstbridge to finish second at the start of the year, but the way Monty's going, just the last couple of weeks, I know Hursty's had a lot of injuries and all the rest of it. So again, who's playing? I'm going to pick Eltham by 4 points.
I think it's that tight of a game. I'm going to go Hursty just because their good is brilliant.
Yeah, it is.
Can they turn it on brilliant at Panther Place? It couldn't be a bigger change of grounds. Despite Hurstbridge playing their ground great, I actually think they play better footy when they can spread. So I think this ground suits.
No, I agree. I've obviously been seeing Hursty a lot. But I do feel like we play better on bigger grounds than our smaller grounds.
I really do. I think it suits their style of players, especially if Luke Collins is in the side and you've got some superstars in that side. The X Factor, he'll just run around. Caleb Anderson. So, it's tight, but I think Hursty and that
it's
might
a ripping game.
That will hurt Eltham a bit if they drop this one as well, because then you're really fighting hard. And then Bundoora Greensborough. Well, this is for me match of the round. It's at Bundoora, so I probably won't be commentating it, but it'll be a great one to commentate. Kingy, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, find a good spot for me. But probably away from the Bundoora supporters after Brandon left and went to Greensy. Yeah. But I hope both sides have their best in for this one, because I think these two sides are absolute level pegged. And because I've spent the last 5 seasons at the Bulls, and this is the first season with my boy at Greensy, I'm tipping a draw. I can't split it.
I will say, though, obviously Bundoora have done very well to the last few years they're rough down the bottom fighting regulation, and then this year they've won a few games, they've surprised a few people. So for that, I'm actually surprised and impressed with what they've shown this year so far. But at the end of the day, Greensborough have shown a lot of fight in their games. It's going to be another close game. Obviously, comes down to team lineup, weather, but I'm leaning towards it's like we say here, 5v7.
If you want to be on the show for the next couple of weeks, I'd think hard.
Greensy boy, I reckon 2 goals.
Correct answer.
Greensy by 2 goals.
As soon as I don't have to be on the show for the next. No, look, this. Anyone
hard to split, isn't it?
Yeah, anyone who's been following, Division 1 Northern football would know that this is really difficult, especially being at the Bulls' home ground.
Yeah,
they've been playing really good footy, and Batch, as you were saying, their rebuild quickly. What Scotto's been able to do there, and the recruitment team, and get people in Moncrief, and that have been fantastic.
He is a superstar, isn't he?
So really interesting. But Borough can't afford to let it go. And the first test of that recently was against the Doggies, and they whacked them.
Yep,
so
they did.
Getting a few back, Borough. These two teams are fighting for 5th. You think in there with Eltham?
Yep, definitely.
I'd say, and if Hursty can't get some players back in a bit of a roll on, it could be 4th and 5th.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Borough by a couple.
I think it's really relevant to who comes back into that side. And whilst people might think I have the inside mail, I promise you I don't. But if they have Tom Mitchell in that side this week,
it changes everything.
Will Mitchell comes back into that side this week, and they get back Zach McCubbin. Now, I don't know if those guys are available. Don't quote me on it. I swear to God, I do not know. But if they come back into that side, that's a mammoth difference, because between Will and Tom, I reckon, honestly, without exaggerating, there's 50 possessions you don't have consistently each week. And Zach up forward and having had him out for so long, that they've been missing that extra guy forward.
Yeah, they've needed the
and he's
they've struggled with that scoreboard pressure.
Yeah, and that's what they need. If they get those guys in, it's amazing. But if they don't, still think they both match up identically. Call out to Jesse King having a stellar season. I think he's second on the goal kicking this year, and he's such a good kid. I'm a big fan of Jesse King, and I'm looking forward to get back down there and sort of watch a game there.
Well,
and
Tom Mitchell,
everything.
I feel like every game he's played at Greensborough, he's notched up at least a minimum of 41 disposals.
Yeah.
And he's kicked a couple goals here and there. So he's a big time player.
He's a freak. And he's got to do it on the big stage. I think his brother's the better local footballer, to be honest.
Yeah.
So losing him for 6 weeks, he just gets local football a little bit better. He's used to that grind, but not taking nothing away from a Brownlow medalist. I mean, what a problem to have.
Player.
What a problem to have. So, no, good on him. Closing words, you're off to sunny Milan and Greece. And, I wish you the best holiday, though.
Yeah,
you work hard behind the scenes for
looking forward
footy
to it.
and what you do for the show.
Yeah. Look, take it over if you want. We've heard people have told me I'm rubbish, so that's fine. No, look, really looking forward to the break. I know our club's looking forward to the break. We've got the bye this week, obviously, and we need it.
You do.
So
it's one good thing about the bye. You get time to just go and reset.
Yeah, we definitely need it at the moment.
Yeah.
But look, we've got to the bye where we are. It's a tight competition in Div 3, Div 2, and Div 1 across different channels. So wishing everyone all the best whilst I'm jet setting somewhere else.
Horrible. Are you flying business class, just out of curiosity?
It's been a good show and look forward to listening.
It's pretty solid, yes. And I've flown business class to London. There is only one way to fly. And if you can afford it, do it. But, you've earned everything you've done, so have a great break.
I work in travel. I know,
that old chestnut.
Yeah.
He works at BP, mate, just fuel go. But, Padge, yes, next week, and I think Ben Keen's going to join us as well. We've established that Pete's worth 2 people. So we're going to have a bit of a show, but we're not changing the name. We're not doing nothing. This will be great. I want to take this opportunity to thank all of our viewers. The Daz and Pete podcast is our highest rating podcast. And last week, you ready for this one? With our views and with our reels and everything we do with a bit of filming, it's the first podcast we do that's hit 100,000 views.
Really?
100,000 views. Now, mainly when the focus is on me, it feels...
Which makes sense.
The views go pretty well.
Yeah, it does.
And AI improves my face every week, which is great.
I don't know if it's improved mine, but...
Our new tops, which Padge will have to wait for, sponsored by New Balance. Me and Peter in our tops second week in. So thanks to Shane at New Balance, Waytech Rendering, Holmesy, Site Supply, Ford's over there. We try to get to everyone. Our All-Stars jumper is going to live on the desk. We even put the Ivanhoe one in here because Pete paid us $50 to do it. But in all seriousness, until next week, thanks for tuning in and keep kicking goals.